Yo, the Warriors dynasty isn't just over, it ended the moment Kevin Durant was injured and decided to leave. There is actually, though, a way to bring it back. You are not gonna like it, but we will reveal the big decision they have to make in this video. But if you told me they would be in this position just 3 years ago, I would not have believed you. I was a sports reporter in San Antonio on TV at the time. All I wanted was to cover an NBA Finals in 2017. I barely missed the Spurs run in 2014. So I was in Memphis when they beat the Grizz. I covered the Rockets win. But in the conference finals, the Warriors felt invincible. Yeah, Kawhi was injured in game 1, but they weren't going to beat 4 Hall of Famers. The NBA did not feel competitive for years. But now, Golden State is pathetic. This video explains how the Warriors got in this mess and how they can get out. Yo, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops, opinions and stories that entertain so you can be a smarter NBA fan. 2 quick member shoutouts to Pavan Sankara and Javier Beltran. So obviously the Warriors want to win another title and extend the prime of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The reason they can't, though, is their arrogance. This front office, coach, and ownership group thinks they are way smarter than they actually are. Look, I admit that putting together a dynasty is impressive, but what did this specific group actually do? Steph Curry was drafted by a different front office. Bob Myers' group inherited him. Jerry West had to push the Warriors to draft Klay in 2011 with the 11th pick. Then they wanted to trade Klay, but Jerry West threatened to quit. If they got their way and did flip Klay for Kevin Love, there might be 0 banners the last 6 years. And then there's Draymond. I mean, when you pick a Hall of Famer in the 2nd round, that is luck. Oh, and Kevin Durant. Convincing him to sign there was also luck. The salary cap spiked that year, and that year only, and they could afford 4 superstars. Bottom line, this leadership group is famous for calling themselves light years ahead of everyone else, but they're actually just luckier than everyone else. Before we go any further, I have to remind you, there is a way out of this. We'll get to that, but they have to act now. I mean, the window is closing with Steph, Klay, and Draymond over 30 years old. If they don't throw their egos away, the franchise could be mediocre for a generation. The first issue they have to deal with is having an actual plan for the season. I mean, Kelly Oubre Jr. is being paid over $14 million, but costs about $70 million with that tax bill. That was clearly a signal they want to win now. But why did they draft James Wiseman? I mean, let's be honest. He hadn't looked very good recently, and he was benched. I'm not mad at him. Dude is a rookie. This is what 99% of rookies look like. So, they paid a lot for Oubre to win now, but they started a rookie on day 1. That doesn't make any sense. And what about not moving Oubre at the trade deadline? They should have traded him, not just because he's been disappointing and expensive, but because he won't be around next year. I mean, this is what Oubre said after the deadline about probably playing off the bench in Golden State next year.
Would you be comfortable staying with the Warriors coming off the bench next season?
I can't speak for the future, brother. So, I mean, you keep asking me questions like I'm a psychic, but at the end of the day, I'm growing. You know, I'm honing in on my skills in this league, and I can offer a lot more than, you know, coming off the bench. So, at the end of the day, this is my life. So I can't tell the future.
Yeah, translation, I am not coming back to come off the bench. That's a problem because the day before, Steve Kerr went on radio and said this.
I'd love to have Kelly back next year, and if that were to happen, it would be off the bench more than likely because, you know, we'd be looking at Steph, Klay, and Wiggs in the starting lineup.
That's an issue. This means they did not talk to Kelly about his role before the deadline. If they did, it would have been obvious. He's not coming off the bench, so we got to trade this guy or lose him for nothing. The front office spent $70 million of the owner's money on a guy who's not helping them this year, won't come back next year, and they didn't trade for assets. Light years ahead, ladies and gentlemen. The next problem they have is the current salary cap. This front office chose to flip Kevin Durant for D'Angelo Russell and then Andrew Wiggins. At the time, I called that smart, but now they're paying Wiggins over $30 million a year, and they gave Draymond Green a $100 million deal. You cannot give half your salary cap to those two players and compete. It's literally impossible. So, at the end of this season, Golden State has a decision to make. They either trade the Minnesota top 3 protected pick and James Wiseman, or they trade Steph Curry. Told you weren't gonna like it, but don't get in your feelings. The greatest GMs in every sport don't get emotionally invested in their players. They're not fans. They move off those players when the time is right. With the situation Golden State is in, the only way out is by dealing their assets. At the end of the season, they could have 2 top 5 picks if the Timberwolves pick conveys, and their own season tanks. Now that's best case scenario. But this all goes back to having an actual plan. I mean, if the plan is to win now and extend the dynasty, then trading young players and picks for a star is the only way to go. But if the plan is to draft and develop for the future, then Steph Curry would get an amazing haul back. Steph will be a free agent after next year, and he chose not to sign an extension last offseason. If you think Steph is going to stick around and lose because he's a good guy, you're dead wrong. Steph hates the disrespect that has been thrown his way for years, and he wants to win more rings. If the Warriors won't go all in, I do think he will leave. If Golden State can set up their future with a trade, the Knicks would be a great destination. Maybe the Bulls, now that they have a competitive roster. I mean, it would be a great finale to be the first title since Michael Jordan in Chicago. Whatever they do, the point is, the Warriors have acted smarter than everyone else, but their decisions are leading to disaster. The only way out is to make a really tough decision. Trade the picks and the young players, or trade the greatest player in franchise history. If they do this, it will bring a direction to the franchise and hope for another title. But if they do nothing, Dubs fans will have to wait for another lucky draft streak, which may not happen in our lifetime. Just one video you have to watch after this one. I promise you're going to like it. It'll be worth your time. It is why LaMelo owes his brother Lonzo everything. I actually found a really cool study that proves it. Check it out.